Hello and welcome back to Game of Trades, your #1 channel for videos on the stock market and cryptocurrencies. This video is going to be focused on Bitcoin. We're going to be making a deep dive into on-chain data, what the current supply and demand dynamics on Bitcoin are, and whether we should be expecting Bitcoin to rally from current levels. We're going to be comparing all this data with different moments in history, more specifically the 2013 zone here, seeing how similar Bitcoin is to that moment in time in terms of the actual data we have on Bitcoin right now. Now, from a long-term standpoint, we continue to believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general have tremendous long-term potential upside. We think we're still very early in the adoption phase of both Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology. We're barely 10 years into the process, and we think there's still much more upside to go. Now, over the past year, ever since our first entry, where we made that article on the coming Bitcoin bull market in around October 2020, since that moment, we've been diving deep into the research, into the data, into how Bitcoin behaves, the price action, because we have a significant portion of our portfolio invested into this asset. We're trying to find out everything that we can on this and striving to find the most efficient methods to take advantage of this incredible asset we have. Now, that's exactly what we cover in these videos. If you're interested in following that with us, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And now, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first chart that I wanted to take a look at is this one right here. Again, on-chain data here. These charts that we're showing in these videos, we believe are probably the most efficient tool to predict both the long-term and short-term price action on Bitcoin and really take advantage of the trends. Cryptocurrencies let you actually study the data of who owns the coins at what moment in time. And if you're looking to benefit from a financial standpoint, this data can be immensely profitable. So this first chart is a chart of the relative unrealized profit on Bitcoin. So when you have a Bitcoin position and you're currently in the green with that position, right? You bought Bitcoin for $30,000 at the bottom right here, and you're currently at $40,000. That means you have a profit, but since you haven't sold that Bitcoin, it's currently unrealized. That's what this indicator shows you. So this indicator is basically a measure of how much market participants are benefiting from the moves that we're seeing on Bitcoin. So you can see here that we have pretty logical trends here with the unrealized profits increasing over time as we see a bull run, right? So this is the 2012 to 2014 bull run. And we have this unrealized profit trending up, meaning investors are gradually more and more in profit as Bitcoin price goes up. Then you have that break of the trend, and that's the bear market, where unrealized profits go down and the amount of players that are losing money increases. Then again, a bull run from 2015 to 2018, unrealized profits trending up right until that peak. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because we found quite an interesting relationship with the unrealized profit on Bitcoin is that it respects a trend. Right? During a bull market, you have this unrealized profit trending up along a hypothetical trend line that you can draw. And once the bear market really begins, that's when you have the break of trend line and you have a multi-year period where price is trending down because people are no longer benefiting from the bull run. Same thing from 2015 to 2018, you have the unrealized profit trending up, respecting that trend line. Then once it's broken, the bear market begins. And the interesting thing that we have on here is what's been happening since the end of 2019, right before COVID. We've been respecting this trend line that I've highlighted on here with a brief false breakdown during COVID. Now, we've discussed this before. The COVID liquidity crisis created some anomalies in Bitcoin. You had a 1 day, I believe it was a 20% drop. But if we did not have COVID, we would have likely respected that trend line. We would have had a small correction, but not a liquidity crisis. So the way I see this chart here is that we're still trending up in the unrealized profit. We're still well within a bull run. We haven't broken any type of trend line here. Nothing to worry about. And it's also telling me that we have support right here. And I said I'd talk about 2013 because that's going to be one of the themes of this video, is taking a look at all this data and seeing if that aligns with the 2013 mid-cycle correction, right? In 2013, you had a big run up with very, very few corrections, then a mid-cycle correction, and then another run up. That's what we think is going to happen on Bitcoin, at least. That's what a lot of data right now is showing us. We had a big run up with very few corrections. Unrealized profits went off the charts in one very swift move here, similar to what was happening in 2013. And now we've come back to retest that trend line, double retest of that trend line. And you can see in 2013, you had a double retest of that trend line before seeing that next big move. So if history repeats itself, that's what we could be expecting over the next few months here on Bitcoin. Now, what I love about this chart is that it's just a huge simplification of the bull runs. No need to pay attention to the price action, moving averages or anything. It's just Bitcoin is in a bull run. You have this unrealized profit trending above this trend line. And when that trend line is broken, you quickly start to see a bear market form almost as quickly as you can smash that like button. If you enjoy these videos, if you enjoy the data, the analysis, and how we try to make sense of all this data with you guys, make sure to take a couple of seconds just to smash that like button. It is really appreciated. Now, the next piece of data that I want to discuss with you guys is the MVRV, right? So this is the market value to realized value. So, right, we talked about the unrealized market cap with that first indicator. This compares the actual market value of Bitcoin with how investors actually benefited from these runs or from these moves down, right? So realized value is actually investors who sold their Bitcoin at a loss or at a profit. Now, this is an indicator that a lot of people use. You often see it on the internet, but in this video, we're going to take it one step further and we're going to take a look at the short-term holder MVRV, right? So this is that same indicator, but just for short-term holders. And we've realized that it's an incredibly important thing to do, to look at what short-term holders are doing and how much profit they're making. And so you get this indicator here that's really fascinating because it tells you so much about the dynamics of Bitcoin. This indicator goes from 0 to 4. And what I want you to pay attention to is that one level right here. And it shows you that during bull runs, you have the short-term holder MVR always backtest that 0 line. It bounces up and down on that one level here, not the 0 level, the 1. It happened during this bull market, except for that brief dip in 2013. It happened during this bull market in 2015 till 2018. You always have that short-term holder MVR come back to test 1 every time. 1, 1, 1, 1. And during bear markets, it acts as resistance. So you have a dip below and then it acts as resistance, 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 and then the beginning of the bull market is when it manages to stay above that level. Same thing here in 2018, it acts as resistance, resistance. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean on this chart. I put a dotted line so that you guys can see very clearly, and a 7-day moving average so that it's a little bit cleaner and you can quickly see how impressive this is. Acts as resistance during bear markets and acts as support during bull runs, right? And so that gives you that difference between what happens during Bitcoin bull runs and what happens during Bitcoin bear markets. And you can see what's recently happened is we had that move down during the May sell-off here throughout May, June, July. We dipped below 1 for a significant period of time. And with that move back up, we're currently back in that positive range. Now we're retesting it right here, you can see. And so we're going to quickly find out if we're still in a Bitcoin bull run or not. If we see the price move up from here, we're going to see this short-term MVRV score come up, and that's going to tell us that we're in this type of environment, a bull run environment where we have this indicator stay above 1. Now, during the 2020 bull market, you had this indicator stay above 1 throughout most of the time, except for during the COVID crisis here. We probably wouldn't have seen this dip below 1 if we didn't have that single day massive drop on Bitcoin. We probably would have seen a correction, but held above 1, and then that big pump. Similar to what was happening again, you guessed it, in 2013. We had that big run up, then retest, huge run up, and then a dump back all the way below 1, which turned out to be a bear trap, snap back above retest, and then you get that second big bull run. So far, it seems like that's our base case scenario. We've had that first run up, big run up, then dump under 1, snap back above, retest. Now we remain objective on Bitcoin, right, until we have that confirmation. We're not going to conclude this as a bullish signal, although we are above that and retesting it. So that's a pretty bullish development right now. But all the other data that we've been looking at and covering in these Bitcoin overviews that we post on gameoftrades.net really gives us a bullish bias on Bitcoin right now. There's so much interesting developments that are happening right now and pointing to more upside in the short to intermediate term, like this illiquid supply ratio that just made a new all-time high. We posted this recently on Twitter, and the total supply held by short-term holders also coming into a very attractive zone here, a typical zone that you get at around bottom when almost no short-term holders are in possession of the supply of Bitcoin. It's mostly big money, big whales that are in control of the Bitcoins, and that sets up the market for a move up. So we really try to combine our expertise in technical analysis along with the high quality on-chain data we have, right? We have access to incredibly important and incredibly useful on-chain data that we put up on our website. And we have 3 main objectives with that. First of all, give you guys access to that data, because that can often be very difficult to access. And we think that if you have Bitcoins, there's nothing else that you can be watching that will be more useful than on-chain analysis. But secondly, we try to actually teach you how to use these concepts, why they're important, and how they can impact the price of Bitcoin. Actually educate you guys, because these are complicated concepts. There's not much information on the internet about this. Not many people talking about it. It's incredibly useful stuff. And then of course, based on the macro, based on the on-chain, based on the technicals, on the news, on the intermarket analysis, we give you guys our forecasts, both longer term, intermediate term, and how to benefit from these Bitcoin moves that we're expecting. All members who sign up before the update and who have already signed up will keep their access to both crypto and macro research, analysis, trade ideas, everything that we currently have on our website for the current price. If you're interested, make sure to sign up to the free trial by clicking on the link down below. Now, I wanted to show you one more chart here, and this is the total transfer volume in loss. And again, very similar to the short-term holders, so the dumb money that we're looking at as contrarian indicators, we're looking at the volume in loss because we love the idea of maximum pain scenarios in the market. The more a certain scenario has a lot of pain in it, the more likely it's going to play out. And so when you see the total volume in loss spiking, that often tells you it's going to be a significant bottom, because that's the moment where the most amount of people are wrong on the markets, right? If you're seeing price come down, total transfer volume, so a lot of people selling their Bitcoins at a loss here, and that often marks a bottom. It marked the bottom of the bear market right here, It marked the bottom of this move down during COVID here with this big spike. And it marked the bottom of the May sell-off right here. And now we're seeing this total transfer volume spike again massively. We think a bottom is very, very close, and we don't have much further downside to go before we resume the bull run on Bitcoin. If we take a look at our logarithmic Bitcoin channel here, with these major reactions, big bottoms in Bitcoin and big resistance line in the middle here, you can see we're very close to this line of support at around 39K. This is around our maximum drawdown, 40 to 39K. If we retest that level, we could see a powerful bounce on Bitcoin, especially if we manage to break above this channel here impulsively. That would put Bitcoin back in a bullish structure, and the next target would be at around 63K. And if we look at our big channels that we're looking at here, the next significant level that we're eyeing is at around $75,000 here. I believe that's what we're going to be reaching very, very quickly in the next few months, as soon as Bitcoin manages to get back in a short-term bullish structure. Now, that's about all I wanted to cover in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Now, in the meantime, I wish you good luck on your trading and see you next time.